Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is comedian and Forbes contributor, Ginny Hogan. Ginny, I'm excited to talk to you today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Of course, with the rise of ChatGPT, almost everyone is feeling really apprehensive, feeling like their job may be in jeopardy, but that's not the case for you. You recently said that you are not scared of ChatGPT. Can you explain why?
Yeah, I'm not scared of ChatGPT because I think that it does require adapting to new circumstances, but I think that that was true before ChatGPT and will be true with the next innovation too. So I think that the idea of trying to stall innovation or be nervous of innovation is not necessarily the smartest approach. And what might be better is to just get comfortable with adaptation and or with adaption. And I I'm a freelancer, so I'm always changing jobs. And so I think that I'm actually, because of the changing nature of my work, I think I'm well suited to deal with new technologies that might change the nature of individual jobs.
Let's talk about that. For Forbes, you write that you basically juggle 17 jobs. So you're used to adapting. How are you specifically going to adapt to ChatGPT?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a matter of like who is still interested in hiring me for the skills that I have. So I have not yet had anyone say explicitly, we are cutting your job because we're replacing it with ChatGPT. That being said, a lot of what I do is writing freelance articles for different websites. And there are times when it feels easy to place an article, and there are times when it feels very difficult to place an article. And I know that BuzzFeed replaced some or did big layoffs and then announced that they were using ChatGPT. I don't know if ChatGPT is explicitly replacing people, or individual people, but I might notice that it's harder for me to place articles, and it could be because ChatGPT is being used. And at the same time, it's not necessarily that ChatGPT is writing the articles that I would be writing as much as ChatGPT is being used at some point in the workflow, which led to layoffs at the company, which led to a lot more journalists becoming freelance journalists, and then the competition for placing articles increased. So I definitely do expect certain areas of my work to be more difficult because of ChatGPT or more competitive. But I also imagine that new opportunities will open up only because I think new opportunities always do.
Definitely. Let's talk about BuzzFeed a little bit because I know anyone who works in media, when they heard that 12% layoff, you kind of think, is my job next? Am I in jeopardy? What was your response to their strategy of laying people off? And then around a month later, it was revealed that they're using AI, ChatGPT to make their quizzes. No, I don't know about all of them, but at least some of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think layoffs are always very sad. I think that companies can often be very irresponsible with hiring and overhiring in a way that means that people will then lose their jobs. So I definitely am always very sad to hear about layoffs. I don't know the specifics of BuzzFeed's finances and how they came to that decision. I don't know if it was a long time coming. And I think that people maybe connected ChatGPT to the layoffs in a way that BuzzFeed itself hadn't explicitly done. So I will say, like, I don't hold it against a company like BuzzFeed for doing that. I think that we live in a I guess my opinion on technology is always that I don't think we should be stopping technological change for the sake of people's jobs as much as we should be ensuring that people who get laid off have the resources to get retrained in something else and have the ability or kind of can get support from the government while that is happening. So I think like I yeah, so I guess that would be my official or how I feel about technology in general. I think that that being said, like I think it will be interesting to see what happens with other news outlets and if BuzzFeed is the first of many. I don't think I had the same kind of I think people had a lot of anger towards BuzzFeed and about using ChatGPT, and I don't have that kind of anger. I am angry when I feel like companies have hired irresponsibly or grown in ways that the numbers didn't support, and then the layoffs felt inevitable. But overall, I think that I think technological progress is important, and the real issue is not making sure that somebody can continue doing the same job they've been doing for many years as much as it is making sure that people have the financial support and to change careers when a job becomes redundant.
Ginny, dare I say you sound optimistic and almost excited about ChatGPT. Do you think the technology is going to help you at all in your work?
Yes, I was using it for a while and then I like got kicked off, I think, for not like it got too busy and there was a wait list and now I'm on the wait list to use it again. So I have used it for research sake because I feel like you can ask it a much more explicit question than you can ask Google. I've also used it for I've never used it to draft anything that I intended to publish, but I have used it to draft emails and I used it to draft talking points at one point. So I think that in a way, the way I've been using it has been like a better version of Google, I guess, which is not its only application. But I'm definitely excited. I don't know. I used to be more plugged into what AI can do. I used to be a data scientist. I don't know when people say like AI is going to become malicious and take over the world. I don't know the specifics of what they mean. I believe them. That being said, like the actual applications of ChatGPT have been useful in my life so far.
And what's your strategy going to be to compete with ChatGPT?
I am not going to try to compete with ChatGPT. I think I would lose. I feel like AI has an advantage. I think my strategy is to figure out what it is that ChatGPT is not doing and do that instead, which I guess is that the definition of competition. But I mean, I do think that humans have things that are more interesting to say than what machines have to say. I think if I'm writing about from my first person experience, that's something that ChatGPT can't know or can't do as well as I can. So I think I want to continue to make sure that I'm speaking about myself and that I'm telling stories as opposed to sort of synthesizing information, which I think ChatGPT is always going to be way better than me at synthesizing information. I will say I've heard some pretty funny jokes from ChatGPT that definitely makes me it doesn't make me nervous as much as it makes me a little bit sad. I'm like, what am I doing with myself that I can't write better jokes than the AI? But I think I'm going to. I also like a lot of my freelance work right now is as a writer, but I don't feel like it always needs to be. So if there's a place for me as a freelance editor or in another field or any kind of consulting project, like sort of strategy, I'm happy to try different avenues, basically.
It sounds like it's almost like a competition in the sense of it's going to make you step your game up. If you think ChatGPT's jokes are funnier than yours, or almost in a good competition sense, that could be good. But if you're not scared of ChatGPT, what's the emotion you're feeling?
I'm curious for sure. I think I'm a little bit jaded about how big anything is ever going to be, if that makes sense. I think, BuzzFeed's announcement made everyone very, very nervous, but I think that there are some industries that will not be using ChatGPT for maybe forever. I think that people can be slow to change. I think people might have good reasons for not wanting to use it. I think people, I think it's not gonna when people say like AI is going to eat the world, it's possible. Anything is possible, but I don't expect to start observing major changes in the way that I live my life. And I think that I'm 31 years old. I got my first smartphone in college, and I look around now and see how prevalent they are and how our lives run on smartphones. But I don't remember a moment of noticing some huge change. I think things happen gradually. So I think in 10 years, it could be that ChatGPT is at the core of everything, but I don't expect a sudden change.
That's really interesting. Let's talk about that. So let's say it's 10 years from now, you're 41, you're sitting there, you're writing, and how do you think ChatGPT will be integrated in your life and into your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally possible that ChatGPT is like writing along with me. Like I write a sentence and ChatGPT like edits it for me as I go. Or maybe I sit down to read through what ChatGPT has already written. It's possible that I won't be a writer anymore and I'll have a totally different career that ChatGPT may or may not be part of. I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do think like, I don't like any, in a way, like I am a tech person. In a way, I'm also not an early adopter. Like I don't like to actually trust a machine to say my words for me, and I think it's possible that that's because I'm a writer and my words are very important to me. So I don't use like voice to text. I've turned off any kind of like auto correct or whatever, or autofill on Google. I like to be in control of my own words. So I'll probably be like later in letting chat, like I'm imagining that people will have whole email, the email goes out and then the calendar event shows up and they don't know that the email happened until they're looking at their calendar because it was all done by ChatGPT. I don't think I'll be in that boat, but it could be that that's what everyone's doing. So maybe I will.
Ginny Hogan, thank you so much.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you.